What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Colin's FTR Adventures. Thank you for tuning in again, and unlike last week, I didn't do the fun thing of getting out of the city and exploring. In fact, I think as a result of last week, I was a little under the weather. So I decided to keep it local and do a short circuit around the city and back. But I still wanted to post something, and I also wanted to talk about a few things that have been on my mind as I was riding around the city. So the focus of today will be 3 things that every new or potential new rider should really understand and spend a considerable amount of time thinking about and working with in order to become more comfortable as a city rider. My first point is, as you can see in the video, lane splitting. Now, we've all seen people riding the motorcyclists just kind of tearing through the middle of traffic and cutting in between cars. And I think it goes without saying that there is a respectful way to do this and a disrespectful / wrong way of doing this. Guys, I have no problem, as you can see, and am a supporter of riding your bike between cars. I think for a motorcyclist, depending on how you do it, it can be much safer than tailing a car in heavy traffic. That being said, there are a few things that you need to be aware of when doing it. One, keep your speed relatively low. There's never a reason to be doing 50 miles an hour between 2 lanes of traffic. It's dangerous to you, it's dangerous to the riders around you, and it is just begging for you to have an accident. And you know, when you're riding a motorcycle, the only person who loses in an accident, regardless of whose fault it is you, the rider, because you are the one who's going to break your legs, your neck, your head, everything, total your bike. The person in the car is going to be just fine. So this applies to everything, every situation on a motorcycle, but particularly lane splitting. Do it carefully. And that means not only keeping your speed low, but also looking way ahead and not just straight forward. Look at the cars in front of you and the cars in front of the cars in front of you. Look at the drivers. What direction are they looking? Are they paying attention? Do they turn their head to look at the mirror to see if you're coming or not? Are their hands in a position on the steering wheel that tells you that they're going to turn in a minute? Are their front wheels turned? Are they looking at their cell phone? There's tons of signs out there that I think most people don't pay attention to. And the majority of accidents that I see have seen online, but also one recently that was involving lane splitting, could have been totally prevented by looking into the car in front of them, down the road, and just in general all around the rider. So when lane splitting, be careful, look forward, be aware, and keep your speed low. My second point is turning your head. As a motorcyclist, especially in a city, but really anytime you're on your bike, your mirrors only do so much. Now, they tell you this in the MSF, they tell you this when you learn how to drive a car. Turn your head. It's incredibly important, and I don't see enough people doing it. Primarily, I will say, it's people on scooters. However, I've noticed the same thing about people driving their motorcycle through the city. Nobody turns left or right, and you have to turn your head. If you notice in this video, you will see the camera move left or right multiple times, even when there's not a need for it. It is so, from my days riding a fixed gear bike through Manhattan, it's so ingrained in my head. Just turn your head right there. Turn your head. Always check, because I can't tell you the amount of times I've turned my head and sure enough, there's a car not 1 foot away from me. And, you know, maybe nothing would have happened, but just to be aware that that car is there. Again, nobody but you loses, so take all the precautionary measures. There you go again. I knew nobody was behind me, but I checked anyway. Turn your head before switching lanes. Even just when you feel you're in the clear and you're out of the woodwork, you know, there's no cars around you, look left and right. Make sure that you're alone, so that whatever you do from that point on, you're covered. Turn your head. Very important. And my third and last point is get to know your bike. This happens naturally with time. You naturally grow closer with your bike and you understand how it works. However, I'm a big proponent of riding with a purpose. I don't think I've ever just cruised, as people talk about. I've never just rode and it's relaxing. In fact, I don't ride because it's relaxing. I ride to be preoccupied and to kind of further understand the craft. That's just me. That's my approach. But every time I get on my bike, I pick one thing that I really want to learn, I really want to master. And for the past week, after last week's trip, my focus has been fully revving out each gear and really understanding where the torque starts, where it ends, and to be able to identify that by sound and feel rather than looking at the dash. That's been my focus. And I highly encourage doing that because riding a motorcycle is all about control, right? It's about controlling your speed, knowing what gear you're in, taking corners smoothly. Those are the fundamentals of riding a motorcycle, and that's what makes you one with your bike. So I would highly suggest setting out on a ride at least once a week to focus on that. Rev out each gear. Know at what point your engine braking kicks in. Engine braking is incredibly important. I try to rarely use my brakes. My main control for speed is laying on the throttle and laying off the throttle. The only time I use my brakes is to come to a complete stop when I am at a crosswalk or if I'm at a real downhill and I just want to be super safe. I'll use my brakes and engine brake. But understanding how your engine is working throughout your entire ride is very important right here. Right there. Practice. Go on blocks and do just that. Go, rev your engine all the way out and then let off and downshift, rev match, and see how long it takes for your bike to slow down. Really understand what your bike is capable of and what it's not. So that when you do get in a pinch, when you are in a bad situation, you know exactly what to do and you don't even have to think about it. Your body just naturally does what you've been practicing. To sum that up, get to know your bike, rev it out, downshift, rev match over and over and over again until you don't even have to think about it. So that concludes what I find to be the 3 most important things to learn and to keep ingrained in the back of your head when motorcycling through a dense urban area such as New York City. I hope people found them useful, and let me know if you have any other big things that you think are on equal footing as the past 3. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will work on getting more footage, more entertaining ride for next week. And I am well aware that I need some equipment upgrades. Next on the list is a good microphone so you guys can properly hear me. And so, these videos can sound a little better. So, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next ride. Be safe until then. Peace.